Welcome dear children, welcome to another video session. In this video we will do the summary of chapter 9, food consumption. In the last chapter we have discussed about importance of food, why we need food and what are the different nutrients present in food. In this chapter we are going to see, or we have already seen during our interactive sessions, that how the food that we obtain from various sources like plants and animals are consumed by us. We have seen about raw food, cooked food, different methods of cooking, what are the different fuels used for cooking and the different utensils that we are using for cooking. Also we have seen the different eating habits of animals. So let us see the mind map of chapter, children. Let us see the mind map of the chapter, children. Chapter 9, food consumption. In the first section of the chapter, we have discussed about raw food and cooked foods. All of you know what is the meaning of raw. Raw means eating as such, or which is not processed. So the food items which are not cooked or we can consume even without cooking, such food items we call it raw foods. For example, fruits, some vegetables like cucumber or carrot, or the milk products like ghee, butter, cheese, we can take it as such. So such items are called raw food items, whereas food items we cook and use, or we will eat or consume after cooking, that is called cooked food. For examples, vegetables, meat, egg, etc. Next we have seen why we need to cook food. So when we are cooking, what happens to food? It becomes softer and it becomes more tastier when we add or cook it with spices or whatever ingredients. It will make the food more tastier. Also, when the food becomes softer, it will be easy to digest. Cooking food also kills the germs present inside the food, thus making the food more healthier. That is the need for cooking. It will make the food tastier, healthier and easy to digest. And the next section of the chapter, we have discussed the different methods of cooking. They are boiling, steaming, baking, frying and roasting. So what is boiling, children? In boiling, we used to boil the food in water in order to cook it. So the food items that we want to cook, they are put in water and we are boiling the water, and the food item also will get cooked along with the boiled water. And the next method is steaming. Food items like idlis or momos, more familiar to you, such food items. We will use the heat produced by steam to cook the food. It is one of the most healthiest way of cooking because there are less chance to lose the nutrients present in the food items using this method of cooking. Next we have seen about baking. Baking means cooking the food in a hot oven. So the food items like bread, cookies, etc., they are baked inside a hot oven. Such method of cooking, that method of cooking is called baking. Next we have seen frying. Frying is a method of cooking using oil. So there are two types of frying as we have seen during interactive sessions. They are deep fry and shallow fry. Deep fry uses lot amount of oil, whereas shallow fry food will be cooked using less amount of oil. Next method we have seen is roasting. In this method, food item we will apply heat directly to it. In this method of cooking, generally food items are not closed. Also, this is a slow method of cooking. Example, the barbecue often we used to do. So this barbecue is an example of roasting. So that are the general five methods of cooking food: boiling, steaming, baking, frying and roasting. In the next section, we have discussed about fuels used for cooking. In olden days, you might have noticed the fuels used for cooking, they were firewood or dry leaves. Even still, if you go to the villages, you can see the old people still cooking with firewood or dry leaves. Nowadays, we are using kerosene or LPG, PNG, etc. for cooking food as a fuel. So, what is a fuel, children? Anything that will burn to produce heat is called a fuel. So, with that heat energy, it is possible to cook food. Then we have seen in the modern days the different fuels that are used are electricity. We have the electric induction stoves in our home which use the fuel of electricity, or the solar cookers which use the solar power as the fuel for it. So these are some of the common fuels like LPG, PNG, kerosene, or the solar energy or electrical energy. These are the different fuels used for cooking. So based on the fuels, the equipments or the stoves that we use for cooking also differs. See, in olden days where firewood is used as a fuel, earthen chulas were commonly used as stove. But when we started using kerosene stoves came into existence. Or this when we in modern days we use the gas stoves which uses the PNG or LPG as the fuel. Nowadays we have seen the electric induction stoves or solar cookers or the microwave ovens which use a microwave technology for cooking food. So the fuels like LPG and PNG, they are stored and supplied through cylinders or pipelines. Okay. So these are the technology of fuels or the stoves that we are using for cooking. Next we have seen the different utensils for cooking. In your kitchen you might have noticed you have a wide variety of utensils in your kitchen. Can you name few of them? Yes, we have the karai or tawa pan or frying pan, etc. in our kitchen. We have the serving spoon or spatulas or even knife. You can see a wide variety of utensils that are used for cooking. In the last section of the chapter, we have discussed about the different eating habits of animals. When we say animals, we have already seen the chapter Animal Kingdom. We can classify animals into wild animals, domestic animals, and under domestic animals you will find pets. So according to the eating habits of animals, wild animals, they are mainly classified into three: herbivorous animals, carnivorous animals, and omnivorous animals. Herbivorous animals are those animals which feed on plants, whereas carnivorous animals feed on other animals. Omnivorous animals can feed both on plants and on other animals. And what about domestic animals? These domestic animals are provided with proper food, water, taken care properly in their man-made habitats. And pets, we also know pets are provided with special kind of food, and they are properly groomed and taken care by their masters. So these are the different ways by which animals feed, or we can classify the eating habits of animals. We can classify animals based on their eating habits. So children, that is the mind map all about. We have discussed about the topics of raw food, cooked food, why we need to cook food, different methods used for cooking, different fuels, stoves, utensils which are used for cooking, and the eating habits of animals. Dear children, hope this video helped you to get the summary of chapter 9, food consumption. We'll see you all during the interactive session. Thank you for watching.